Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Real Word Show, Season 3, Episode 19. We thank you for all the support that you've given us thus far. We thank everybody that's been watching the show. Shout out to everybody that's following us on Instagram at The Real Word TV. Shout out to everybody that's following us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/C for channel /The Real Word TV. Shout out to everybody that's watching us on the Brick Network. Check your local cable listings. And shout out to everybody that's just been supporting us and supporting the movement, that's been supporting the company, that's been supporting the non-for-profit. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my co-host, Cameau. He couldn't be here with us today, so we got Kimmel in the house. What's up, Kimmel?
What's going on? What's going on? I didn't get a shout out.
And we got a very special guest with us today. Introduce yourself, sir.
Haile. Peace.
All right. So we apologize for the lateness today, but we thank you for logging in and we thank you for watching. Shout out to everybody that's always supporting. Shout out to everybody that's watching live tonight. Shout out to everybody that's watching us on cable also. So today we're going to talk about a lot of different range of topics, but tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
Me, I'm from here, and I mean, Medina, like I was telling you, I'm from here in Brooklyn. I'm an artist from Brooklyn. I produce, I rhyme, I write.
All right.
Yeah, you can check my project out. My man Kyle Itachi came out here as well as in France, Black Ninjutsu.
We got a producer if you need one. We got a producer.
I mean, I'm always looking to add on and build, so I'm real creative. I work. That's all I do is just rhyme and work on the music. So
creativity is missing nowadays.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I like to speak about myself and my music. So just check me out on everything. Haile, Haile, Ali, Ali. On everything. It's streaming on everything, so you can check me out on there and get in tune with what I do. I mean, unless y'all have any particular questions to ask me, I answer. But outside of that, we could just build. Other people to get to know me through that.
Facts. That's what's up. All right. So what's the inspiration for your music?
Inspiration for my music, therapy, and usually
What do you mean by therapy?
Therapy, actual therapy. Like if you used to go to a therapist, I go to myself.
Okay, self therapy.
You know what I'm saying? Therapy, self-expression. As I said, I'm a 5%er, so it's definitely knowledge of self inside of my rhymes and everything. But the main goal again is therapy for me, because as well as for other people, it's like I met so many different people from different walks of life. At this point, through my music, I just look forward to seeing more and whoever else I meet and however I'm able to assist them, or even them able to assist me as well, because again, that's the best part for me is the therapy.
So if someone don't know what a 5%er is, explain it to them.
Yeah, we're the poor righteous teachers on the poor part of the planet Earth who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%. When we say the teachings of the 10%, we're saying that we don't believe that God is a mystery in the sky that can't be seen with the physical eye.
I can hear that. Okay.
That's how we see it. Every teacher.
You believe in a self?
We don't believe in anything. We either know it or we don't. That's how we see things.
Okay.
And me personally, let me not even speak for the other gods and earths. Let me speak for myself. I either know something or I don't. If I don't know it, I'm at peace with it. If I want to learn it, I'm gonna strive to learn it. But if
How you
not,
ran into that? I ran into it. I've read up about the 5%ers.
How I just heard cats around the way speaking about it. A couple older brothers, and I hit Google at that time because it was on the move. I think I was probably just sitting in the park or at a store or some shit, and they were speaking about Elijah Muhammad, the father of law. So I was like, all right, what's this about? And then I went and Googled. I seen a little bit of the history with the Nation of Islam, history of the father of law, the 5%, and I also seen photostatic copies of the lessons online.
I think Muhammad Ali was also into that too.
He was part of the Nation of Islam. He was FOI, So at that time, I was probably about it was around the same time when I really started rhyming, 14, 15, but I wasn't really magnetic to it at that time because I didn't have understanding.
Gotcha. You was just doing it for fun? Me and my boy was doing it for fun too.
Well, I wouldn't say for fun because at the time I wouldn't have called myself a 5%er because again I didn't have understanding. I've always been a student of life. Like it's documented in my family. The first thing I ever said I'd be in life was a scientist, and that I am today. You know what I'm saying? In many different sciences I study, and I'm pretty astute, and I build with people, and I help them add on in those areas as well. So when I got the knowledge, it was like, oh, always said I was gonna be a scientist, and now it's like because of our lessons, it broadened my horizon and scope. And I was always an intellect. Like my gifts for Christmas used to be books and shit, and I was happy. I was cool. I was
That's
cool.
what's up. There ain't many black people like that. I tell you that.
They ain't have the mother I had. That's all. They ain't have my mother.
Yeah.
You say you're a scientist, right? And you also say that you're a teacher. Are you a science teacher?
Indeed. I teach Tai Chi, so yeah, I teach martial science.
How that go?
When it comes to
Break
that,
simplify it for me.
I'm a Tai Chi teacher. Tai Chi, the art, it could be applied as a martial art, but it's also a movement meditation. I teach that in the DOE. It's actually
It's like a cooler yoga, you would say?
No, it's a different science. Yoga and Tai Chi are relative in the practice that they both be engaged with manipulating your breathing.
Yeah.
Once you get to
Control, I would
certain
say.
is dealing with your breathing. But yeah, so that's what I teach, and I'm also an etymologist. Etymologist is a scientific study of letters, words, signs, and symbols. So again, how we was building earlier when I was telling you that every letter has a message. Every single letter has a particular meaning embedded within it that even makes that letter want to form this word to be what it is. You see what I'm saying? That's the unique thing, not only the sound, but also the geometric principle of the geometric harmony of the letter. It means something.
It's almost like how the letter is written too. It plays a part in that as well.
That's the geometry of it. That's the geometry of it. Definitely has something.
Like the letter A is like two people coming together as one.
If you look at it like that.
Depends on how you look
But
at
if
it.
you want to deal with the root origin of the letter A, it represents your trachea and your bronchi. What do I mean?
Yes.
Right? What do I mean? If your trachea, right, and your bronchi, right? But the English letter A, right, is like taking your trachea out and putting it between your bronchi, which means that letter A will represent that you're dead. Because look what I'm saying. What can you do without your? Can you breathe without your trachea here? But look at the diagram of your lungs. Also, right, in
a sense,
in the Semitic languages, right, where the letter A comes from, which it comes from alpha, right? And alpha comes from aleph, right? Aleph represents it.
I would say a lot of powerful words will come from the word A.
Well, because it's called the aspirate. Letters that are aspirate are letters that you can't say without expressing breath. There are only a couple letters.
Alpha.
You understand?
Amazing. It
You
has
see what
like
I'm
a
saying?
tone
It
to
has,
it.
you have to express it. Like say a letter with the letter that begins with the letter H without expressing breath. It's impossible. Things like that you study within etymology. You see what I'm saying? So when I say that's what I mean when I say that I'm a scientist, and that I think that has reflection inside the rhymes because it gives me a collection of words to use. You know what I'm saying? And the more words that you have to use to express yourself, the better it usually is. You don't sound redundant all the time.
If you use powerful words and you know how to speak a powerful tone, then
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about the tone. You don't want to sound preachy.
Yeah.
People ain't really feeling that shit at this time too much. It was a time when that tone was received.
It was
better.
needed. It was
Yeah,
needed.
it was received well. It was received.
Nowadays, it's more playfulness.
Why is that? Like, why so many people are so against hearing preaching nowadays?
Because it might sound boring.
The tone, you could say. Like,
It might sound boring. You know what I'm saying? It might sound boring.
From my personal experience, I say we're from an era where we know
I like that.
it's not as much struggle. It's not as much.
Oh, it definitely is, bro. It definitely.
It's more mental than physical. So
nah, it is physical. It depends on where you at.
Mm.
I'm saying that again as a teacher, Lord. And some of these youths, they're real poor.
Mm.
They're actually hungry. You understand what I'm saying? They're coming to school. Their clothes are not washed.
I'm coming
That's
more
what I'm
from the
saying,
I would say more from the middle class, because I say the middle class makes up the majority. That's why they,
When did the middle class ever make up the majority, Lord?
No, I don't think the middle class makes up the
middle
majority.
class never made them. That wouldn't.
paid them.
You know, to my wisdom, Lord. That wouldn't be capitalism.
I'm thinking more so because the middle class pays more in taxes. So I would say more pain, more pull comes from the middle class. Like we gotta help out the poor class, and then the rich don't get as taxed as hard as the middle class.
Why? Because the rich know how to write taxes off.
Of course, they go to businesses.
Taxes that they know how to write taxes off.
Yeah.
It's a science to that shit. It's like Amazon didn't pay shit in taxes this year because Amazon knows that it like we haven't seen that nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
It's a 501c3.
501c3.
If I give you money, right, it's cheaper for me to give you that money than to pay those taxes.
That's a fact. Speaking of that, because I got the 501c3 and we did so much charitable donations last year, regardless of how much income that I made last year, I got money back because I gave back. But that was what we was talking about earlier about that you start off with yourself and to better yourself in order to better those around us. As the awakening in self came to light, I could say I was able to help others, and in a sense that gave me and my business partners and my co-host the inspiration to create the non-profit 501c3. That's where we applied the knowledge now, because we had the spiritual, we got the physical.
Mathematics, that's called wisdom now, because now you're doing something. You see?
So
and what's knowledge without motion, God? Nothing. It's just an idea. It's just an idea.
And ironically enough, they call that piece of paper by a number, 501c3. So it's not for no reason.
Of course, they have their different tax codes for different.
They try to make it complicated, make it.
Well, everything's complicated until you learn how to read it. See,
exactly.
And that's what many people like. When you get attorneys and all of these things, you're paying that person for their skill in knowing how to interpret and comprehend documents.
Trust me, I know.
Legalese, they call it legalese.
Well, I'm not advocating that you don't get attorneys. What I'm saying is that you can also
do
get dictionaries yourself, and you can also look these words up to see what you're paying for.
Exactly.
But then again, lack of motivation. Some people are not
and
motivated.
circumstances.
As
And
well.
it's variables to life. I'm just about, like I was telling the brother before, there's not too much that's impossible. It's about how you do things. It's a method to every piece of madness.
But the world more so keeps us occupied and distracted so that we won't be able to find ourselves, and oftentimes we get lost in other things and other
Because they're
people.
doing their job.
Preach.
They're doing their job. That's what they that's what their motive is. To keep people distracted.
They need a buyer, man. They need a buyer.
Have you guys ever seen that show American Gods?
I seen one
Yes, it's a dope
episode.
show.
Yeah, it's a dope
It
show.
got cheesy, it got a little cheesy.
First episode.
Yeah,
was-
towards the end.
The concept was dope.
Hold on, y'all made it past episode 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
I
a
watched the whole season.
yeah. So
Y'all crazy.
but basically, it bends reality and it shows you things that are going on, but it gives you a rationality.
Yeah.
But it brings it back to over time. One of the things that said that a God is only as real as those that follow that God. Once the people stop following that God, it's almost like that God dies.
When has man never not been God? Who created the concept?
Man.
So how can man not be God?
But then the Bible says that God created man.
How old is the Bible? How old is the history being spoken about in the Bible? They got bowls on this planet that's older than the history we're speaking about in the Bible. That's a fact.
Man.
They got spoons from other cultures that even still exist to this day.
This
They
land.
got cultures untouched that exist. How are you going to
There's
go to
still
them and
land that
find
we
them?
didn't even touch. There's
Come
still
on,
areas we
that's
didn't
what
even
I'm
touch.
saying.
Like,
You can't go to these people in these areas like, yo, take this. Come on, I can't go to them like, here, take this Supreme Mathematics. They don't want that shit. They've been living and existing in peace and they're betterment of the quality of their life for eons, and they're like, it works for us. The Bible. So I just say that to say, the Bible has its relativity.
You can say
it
that.
has its
And
messages.
then I mean, I think like I tell people all the time, when you want to pick up a Bible, a Quran, a Baha'u'llah, whatever book it is, these books have principles.
They have
Within the
messages.
stories is many principles. Now, if you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you'll take the principle, but understand that this shit is just a story.
That's what I try to
You see
explain
what
to some
I'm saying?
people
It's
too.
just a story. And the thing about many of these stories are personifications of many different science.
And it's people's interpretations. A lot of people.
Of course. That's why they say you read it with discernment.
Well, the thing about it is not about what people interpretation and then about what do those wise men and women mean when they was writing these books. And the meaning for those things still exists today once you investigate it properly.
Of course. Because every single parable, every single story could be applied in today's world.
So it's easy to say something is a prophecy if it's written upon a mathematical principle of life.
Especially if there's nothing new under the sun, right?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So we can find different things going on in the world, flip the Quran, flip the Bible.
And like, this is
Look,
what's happening
I
today.
told you, and this is what they do to get the 85% to continue to be like, here, take my zakat, take this offering, take this tithe. But the reality is that these books are fashioned off of many of the ways of life in the universe.
They see what people want to hear. They know what people want to hear.
Because they were wise.
Exactly. They
See
read
what
up
I'm
on
saying?
it.
They were wise. They studied themselves. So when you study yourself, you need to study your own being.
Exactly.
I
So with
told
that,
I told the girl that recently.
so with that said, is the world flat or round?
How do you measure time?
We measure time by a clock.
Some things you just
Oh, by the
can't
sun.
How
answer
do you
from.
measure time?
We actually made
Now,
up.
if the earth was a flat plane,
Mm.
right, that also would go back to what we taught the Europeans about the earth being square. When we taught them the earth was square, we just simply didn't want them to sail over there. Because past that horizon is more sea, or there's going to be land that they just never have seen before.
Mhm.
So when I say time, I'm literally speaking about how do you describe night and shadow.
It just happens. You can't really explain it.
How do you
This is
describe
things you
how
can't
do how do
explain.
you describe the different layers of atmosphere? If the earth is two-dimensional.
Mm.
How do you explain the earth actually fucking spinning?
And we not feeling nothing.
Well,
It's
you're
moving,
at the
yeah,
same
speed.
speed. And then that also is accredited to gravity, which is formed by the earth being pulled by the sun.
Mm.
And the moon. How do you explain the moon being within the earth's atmosphere?
Well, the Bible says that at the beginning it was only darkness and the spirit of the Lord
Well, all
moved
right,
across.
darkness in the spirit. Well, let's deal with it. What does the word spirit mean?
But I would say that the spirit is. I would say the spirit is a being that doesn't have physical
look
shape.
what I said. I said, what does the word spirit mean? I didn't say try to shape it into a being. I said, what is it? See, this is the science of etymology.
This is when you talk about the letters and the.
This is when we gonna build, right? Because we use the word God. The word God just means to invoke,
Use the mic so
to
people can
call
hear.
out.
Exactly.
That's what it means, to invoke, to call out. That's what the word G-O-D, right?
Yeah.
That's what that word means in English, right? But the men that wrote it, they meant Goma, Oz, and Duval in English. They meant wisdom, strength, and beauty. Because the Bible is also in simultaneous. It's more supremely understood through that man than through the Christian perspective.
See, I
That's
took a break
another
on the research.
that's
I'm about to
another
get back on
conversation,
it.
right? The word spirit means breath, God.
Of course.
It means air. So if we're saying that God, we're speaking about the mind, God. Because close your eyes. No, literally, close your eyes right now.
I know.
What do you see?
You see nothing, but you know you're there.
See darkness. In the book of Genesis, it said that man was simply dirt until God came and blew breath into their
No,
lungs.
and
they
then
became
in that
human.
moment it said, let us make man.
So let me hit you with
So
something.
we said, let
Us
us
make
make
man in our image.
That's a plurality, Lord. That's not a singularity.
That means it was more than one.
I would think so. Didn't it take your mommy and daddy to make you?
But then they said it was the Father, the Son, and the Holy
Well,
Ghost.
they keep calling her a spirit because they have no prominence for the woman in their culture.
Facts. They don't want to give the woman the
Show
power.
proof to- look, and then you're going to tell me that God is a bastard? This is the shit I'm thinking as a youth when I'm giving the Bible, Lord, because you're telling me that, all right, and Joseph is the stepdad. And this woman just magically got pregnant with no semen in her. So that shit ain't make no sense to me since I was a child. I'm gonna be honest with you. So it wasn't very. That's why I was able, when I got whiffed to the 5% lessons, I'm like, let me check this. When I got whiffed to the Buddhism, I'm like, let me check this. Because I was already not dealing with anything that tried to tell me about anything that wasn't really practical.
But you see, it did what it was supposed to do because it was meant to provoke. Like it was so extreme that it either provoked you one way or the other. It was either you believed in it and you was like, this is incredible power, or you realized that this is ridiculous because it made you search somewhere else for knowledge.
But then again,
Yeah.
the Bible was originally
I
in.
wasn't dealing with that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give you that one.
I wasn't dealing with that.
I wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? Because it was like it's not scientific. It wasn't scientific to me. Like until I started to study science and masonry, I didn't know that there was science really within the Bible.
Of course, it's science.
I didn't know that until these things started to tell me. Get a dictionary. Look up this word. All right, this is the history and succession of this book being written. This English King James one you got right now is not even the original King James one. Get a 1611.
Yeah.
Get a 1611 and notice the diction and how different it is even written and how you see the U's where there's V's at because of the relativity to the Latin and Coptic language and
It starts to all
This,
come off
the
as a
preacher
sound.
was not teaching me like that.
No, it wasn't.
Many of the preachers know that because many of the preachers are Masons. Or Freemasons. Because
I've
Masonry
heard.
and Freemasonry are two different things.
But then they said every Freemason wants to be a Muslim son. Do you believe that?
Well, in our lessons, we teach that the devil had to study from 35 to 50 years before he called himself a Muslim son. Muslim son is because of all of the knowledge that was inherited by the European, for the most part, was given to them by Muslims. When did that happen? Not conquest in Europe.
Yeah, when the Moors took over, they said that it was the Moors that showed the European how to use the spoon and how to use leather to make clothing and things of that nature.
We showed them everything. We showed them how to wash their ass. We showed them how to not live with their enemies. We showed them how to actually build homes for themselves. We showed them many different things, and many of the things that we used to do. And they used to do some wild stuff back then too.
Yeah,
These
of course.
They were very stupid people. They would do many foul things in the name of trying to curse Islam in order just to seem like they were martyrs. And they know they was going to get their head cut off. Because we didn't say you have to stop practicing Christianity. Our point was this: if we don't give you some type of civilization now, we're going to keep killing you. And that got old after a while. So if we give you a little bit of knowledge, you'll be able to pick yourself up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but let's talk about the
They
Muslim
took it
section.
in
So how did-
Speaking about Freemasonry.
So how did the world get flipped upside down where the black man ended up last
a lot
place?
of a lot of eternal war. The black man not last place. Black man has got to get his mind straight. We still run everything when it comes to everything that influences the world.
True.
We still
Right,
are powerful
it's
figures.
just
They
a
still
matter-
fear us.
it's
It's just
it's a matter of our own unity that we have to take hold of. And,
we're not
that type of
united.
unison.
Like hip hop
Oh.
right now. Hip hop right now is basically controlling the masses. It's the
Yeah.
most profitable business
Yeah.
that the U.S. have and the biggest export that the U.S. is
Yeah.
pushing throughout the whole entire world.
Yeah.
But the black man has the magic of hip hop and has the ability and the skill.
But they use
But
it.
then, exactly, they are basically in sweatshops pushing out the music and somebody else
extra
controls
hard.
it.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, tides turning a little bit. People starting to own a lot more. I'm not even gonna say a little bit more. People are starting to own a lot more. How did the world get turned? For me, 26. You know, how the world got turned is through eternal warfare. If me and you warring, and you got somebody over there that want to reap the spoils of the war, it's easy for them to do that. And that's what they did. And then you have to also understand at this time, we're not speaking about a time where we're looking at things like, all right, you're white, I'm black, fuck you.
Let's just slow down on the curse a little
You know
bit.
what I'm saying?
That's
That's,
fudge, man.
that's, I got it right. You know that, So that's really what it was, and we have to understand that there was European people that was also a part of African nations at this time. There was African nations that was a part of many wars with one another at this time, and whoever was not dealing with things righteously was disposed of war.
Of course.
It wasn't, you know, you gotta really study the historical times, coming from 1492 up until now. You have to study those times, and that's why things within the Moorish Science Temple of America and many brothers who deal with that knowledge are they're primary in that area in school though, when they know what they're talking about.
So let's dive deeper into this. You said something about most preachers and pastors are Masons, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they go to theological
Well,
seminaries.
that's why we call them 10%ers. We say there's 10%ers of the rich slave makers of the poor. We teach the poor lies to believe the Almighty true and living God is spoken in the sky. Because in Masonry, they speak about God body as well.
Mm.
They get the science of who man is, they get the science of how to deal with the mind and many different things as well, but they still want to go to their congregation on Sunday.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
go to their congregation on Sunday for the most part.
And their theological schools, they learn this, or in a separate school that's not known to man?
Of course not in a theological school. You gotta go pay for the brotherhood.
Knowledge is power. You know, you can't give
You
it
gotta
out
go
for free.
You gotta go pay for the, we give it out for free. We give it out for free.
That'd be our mistake.
Our lessons in how is that a mistake?
Well,
That's
I mean,
the
we gave
problem
it to
right
the-
there because we have
He's
people
talking about
that-
something else.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever knowledge you may be.
Also, more so, we give it out. Like I said, I feel like people
give the
in
knowledge
groups keep their knowledge because you know that's what makes them powerful. Like that's their thing. I feel like we give our power, we give our knowledge to the other people instead of our own people.
That's a lie, because we got this platform, The Real Word, and we give knowledge every
Well,
week.
that's why we need more of this. Like, we need more platforms.
Not only
like
that,
this.
it's that where are you looking to go? There's certain, again, organizations that have been around for 100 years, some been around for 6 years, some been around for 40 years. There's many different walks of life that are there that people are just not,
We're not looking for
of
us.
course, y'all not looking for it, man. I'm not gonna sit here and play the Nation of Islam. I'm not gonna play this as 5 6. I'm not gonna play the Moral Science Temple of America. I'm not gonna play the Asar Society. There are many different places to go for knowledge, brother. It's just a matter of how or where are you? Because these people, you know, they're there.
But the thing is, the Christians hate the Muslims. Why is that?
I don't know. I'm not a Christian.
Oftentimes, when they say that, oh, the Muslims pray to Allah. Nah, here's what I'm saying, right? Oftentimes they say that oftentimes the Christian will say that the Muslims pray to Allah, how Allah is a fake God, and they really praying to the devil. But yet you're saying that most preachers, that's on their Sunday, because they got the Sunday preachers, they got the Saturday
I don't
preachers.
mean when it's to a mystery God in
Can you
general.
explain the Saturday and Sunday thing? 'Cause my
Saturday
pops
and
is
Sunday,
Saturday.
that happened because of Constantine. And
Yeah,
them
Constantine.
people over there.
I could explain to you. So what happened was Constantine, he used to praise the pagan gods, you know, like Zeus and all them other ones, the Roman pantheon. So he was marching into Rome to conquer Rome, and then when that occurred, he claimed to see a vision of an angel that came to him that showed him the sign of the cross, and so they put crosses on. That's when you see that red cross on the Roman soldiers, and then they marched into Rome. They took over Rome, and some are saying that Constantine might have been the first pope, I guess. So basically, Constantine did the Council of Constantinople, where he brought all the religious leaders together.
Council of Nice.
The Council of Nice.
What
Thank
does
you.
Nice mean? Foolish, stupid, aka the word we say in English is nice.
Nice, yeah.
Spelled the same way.
So basically, they all came together in a circle, and they came up with certain rules and laws that they all gonna follow together. And so they turned Sabbath, Saturday, means I sat on that day, I took a day of rest. So they manipulated it and said, no, let's turn to Sunday. Sunday, the glorious day of the sun. So they're worshiping the sun now. So they flipped it over, just like.
I mean, everything will have to be a Sunday. The sun will never stop shining.
Exactly.
Right.
So
But no, their point was to give the people a religion. They had a bunch of uncivilized people over there they had to give a culture to. How are you going to give somebody a religion without giving them a religion with somebody that looks like them? That became why you got the person Caesar bullshit who think that Jesus Christ today.
yeah, that's the image that
So
they
that's what it
use.
was really all about. It was about civilizing savages.
You gotta create law.
Exactly, gave them a system. Like, let's look on the map, Lord. Because our lessons teach us, right? Said that we marched them from here to there.
We gotta get that turn.
You understand? You don't even gotta turn it. We looking at it, right?
Yeah.
So we looking from Arabia. We looking from Arabia to Armenia. Do you know that Armenia is the first Christian nation? This place right here, look.
Yeah, the Armenians. That's why.
It's the first Christian nation, but look where it's going. It's going from here all the way there. Armenia.
And that's why there was the Armenian genocide where they
Alright.
killed a lot of Armenians. They used to place them on boats and just drive the boat in the middle of the sea and just leave them there to starve.
All right, and look what's over here. You gotta understand what's over here. Understand what I'm saying? Now, when you study that area, you gotta study a Muslim sultan named Muhammad. I think it's Muhammad II. That, you know, I can't curse no more. I'm about to say Allah, Savior. But yeah, he gave them a whooping. He bust the Byzantines in 1453. Things of that nature you gotta look at as well too, because 1453 ain't too long from what? 1492. But you gotta recognize that we're living in a time where all of these nations here, they only deal with each other because of money. In that time, many nations mostly really dealt with each other because of the true chivalry that they shared. So there was, you gotta understand, our empires at that time were real empires. So you understand what I'm saying?
That's what we need to get back to.
Yeah, it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
We
know.
start-
I think Africa has to develop nuclear power first. Without developing nuclear power, you're not going to be respected as a military or as a player.
But then every time they try to, the U.S. always stopped them. Like Iran tried to develop nuclear power. Iraq tried to. Libya tried to. It's almost like the U.S. trying to police the world.
You know, they're being the bullies. They're trying to control things.
You don't have to keep striving because that's the only point at which, you know.
You
Like
gotta
this, like,
keep fighting the bully.
like I can tell your map is up to date. Ask me how I know your map is up to date. Because this map has a Sudan and a South Sudan. If you go get an old map, you ain't gonna see that on the maps we had when we grew up in school. We ain't gonna have that. It's just gonna say Sudan.
But they said that.
Things like that.
But they said that the map is disproportionate, as in the continents are not the same size and it's actually upside down.
I don't know about the upside down part too much. I hear many people say that, but I just know that you can fit a whole lot of all that inside of her.
Inside of Africa, yeah, of course.
Fit a whole lot of all that inside of her. She's the supreme one.
But Africa is divided. That's why they could never stand together.
Well, yeah, because many people still pay certain tributes to the colonial forces, and they got, you know, certain banking interests, and, you know, there are African nations that are part of the IMF.
We might have to do a track.
But look at the compass. What does that look like to you?
Well, this compass is wrong.
But
North and south, north and west means down and beneath. East belong here, south belong here, west belong here, and north belong here.
So you're saying it's supposed to be turned.
If you go look up the oldest,
That's why I said the map upside down.
The oldest atlases, you'll see that. If you go look up the diagram of a Masonic lodge, you'll see east at the top, south right here, north here, and west at the bottom. These words all mean something. East means to shine. South means the sun. Again, west and north means down and beneath. So when we're looking at
Gonna say what?
You gotta wake them up. You gotta hit them, man. You gotta say it, man.
now I don't have to say it. I have to remember that I'm also a rap politician.
Oh, I got you. You got
For those that, if you paid
brand.
attention to the compass and the meanings of the words of the compass, and look at what people name their children. Northwest. I say whatever I want. I'm playing with y'all. I'm a god. Nobody can tell me not to say nothing.
I believe everybody is their own.
Northwest means down and under, right?
Yeah. You wear kilts. You know what's up.
Well, but then again, Australia's called the down under, right? A lot of people refer to Australia as the down under.
I don't know, but I know I don't want to be down or under nothing.
No, but that's the nickname for Australia, the down under.
Yeah, look how they treat the people there.
Yeah, they killed off all the blacks over there.
They be violating these people in Australia. Some of the most primitive people on the planet, genetically. You know what I'm saying?
And they down under, so I ain't gonna give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know. Australia's a magnificent place. I want to go there one day. Yeah. That's that. You know, you can't allow these people in the world and the way they paint the world to be, and I make you want to
True.
travel and be around.
Which is their whole
You gotta be
their
at
whole
peace.
plan.
Yeah,
Their whole
you
plan.
have to be. You have to find happiness through the surroundings. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do.
You gotta just live your journey.
So let me ask you a question, right?
What's that?
How do you learn so much knowledge of so much different things? As in,
Be patient. Be patient with myself. Give myself the ability first when I got the knowledge to rehabilitate myself and become a righteous man. I wasn't a righteous man before. And then give myself the patience to digest the knowledge that I'm inculcating now in my mind. Patience.
and where do you obtain the knowledge from?
Different areas. It could be people, it could be natural curiosity. But I always try to put it into test, which means if I bring myself into a cipher where it wasn't a person, it was my own natural curiosity. I would strive to go amongst people who are kind of like professors of that area of science to see if I know what I'm talking about and to learn from it as well.
I like to play devil's advocate. I'll say.
Anybody, if I can show and prove whatever. So when it's the truth, you could be
The
devil's
truth is
advocate
the
no matter what you.
Exactly.
You could be as adverse as you want to be, you know, still going to stand firm in its logic. So that's always peace to me. Arguments and disagreements are always healthy as long as the point is you're trying to see something for what it is and not what it appears to be. Many people don't like to be contradicted because they don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they don't like being tested.
Nah.
I like to test people. Testing is how you get deeper into it and find out the real truth.
That's what we call showing and proving. 5 stages. You gotta show them proof.
I brought up on the 5%. I
We gotta
believe
show
in
them
that.
proof, yeah, because we're not a philosophy. A lot of people, Taoism is a philosophy.
I
A
feel
lot
like
of stuff is philosophical. We're not philosophical. A lot of it is or it isn't.
You just go by the numbers.
yeah.
It's not necessarily about the numbers. Remember, the numbers represent the principles of the way the mind works. They're not speaking about anything ambiguous.
It's more free. It's free
And
and
we're speaking about, because we're giving you the ability
to think of your own.
You thinking for you. So
That's why I like
when
it.
everything crumbles in your life, it's your fault. When everything is brought to you prosperous, it's also.
I'm happy you said that because I just argued with my mom the other day. And I feel like a lot of people it's not a shot or nothing. It's just what I grew up with. Christianity, they always blame the devil. It's the devil fault. It's the devil fault. And since I was young, I was always wondering why they give him so much power? I thought he was banished. I thought God was to punish the devil.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why is he just roaming free, ruining everyone's life?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So, looking into 5%ers, looking into Muslims and looking into their way of thinking, they believe in self-God.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, like you said, when you close your eyes,
we're not the only ones. We just the ones that speak it overtly. The Hindus teach about the Godhead. The Buddhists teach about the enlightened one being self. We just teach it the way we teach it, and I think it's who it's coming from at a time on the planet that it came from. It's making everybody be like,
they think it's something else instead of
but
within.
in reality, let's build on it. You can open the Bible, and the Bible tells you in Psalms 82:6 that we are gods and children of the Most High. I simply told my mother this. You God's child? Yeah, so I mean you God. What are you talking about? Well, how are you telling me that I'm not God if you're telling me that God is my father and by way of genetics I must be God?
My favorite line is, we are made in God's image. Therefore,
not only that, then again, that God must also be a black man because it showed forth and proved the first people to ever be here were the original people of this planet, who they call blacks or African.
Listen, my crazy theory is because we started shielding ourselves from the sun. That's why we started getting light.
What happened to the Eskimo? Don't hit me with that shit.
Yeah.
What happened to the Eskimo? Don't hit me with that shit.
And Eskimos
Listen. We can get into it. We can get into it. Science and listen. Science and get off the air for what? They're Neanderthal. Neanderthal is not the same as a human being.
No, they're not. They're mixed with a whole different type
That's
of DNA.
a whole different type of species. Is to the reason why in the dictionary they were.
aliens?
No, they're humanoid.
No, they're humanoids. In
They're
the Bible,
humanoid. They appear as to be but they're not.
But they're not. The Bible, what the Christian Bible, I keep referring to that because that's the knowledge that I have.
Yeah, that's what you have. That's your relativity. Use that, huh?
The Christian Bible states that the sons of God, it says that the sons of God saw the daughters of man and they slept with them and they created a new race. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, it's about the Nephilim and all that.
So it's dividing.
Really nasty.
Yeah, so it's dividing the two, saying that there was two, that the different type of races that have
That's
created.
all it was speaking
created
about. Was
another
about
race.
you know what I'm saying? And we've tried that. It doesn't work. It don't. Where do you think you get all of these tawny-looking people from in Europe, in Sicily, in Italy, and all of those initial Latin people in Spain and all of that? That was from us having sex with Europeans. It didn't work. We tried to graft them back in the race. That didn't work out.
You tried to mix it.
We tried everything. They're going to be their own self-destruction. You don't have to hate anybody.
Yeah, I say that with most people. I feel like you're your own God, so therefore how
Yeah.
your life goes is up to you.
You don't have to hate anybody.
But back to what you were saying, right? And I was trying to relate this to American Gods, and the show American Gods, they basically it's like the old gods versus the new gods, and they're saying that the old gods are dying now because people are no longer worshiping them. What people are worshiping now is the internet, which is the new god. It can make anyone a god as long as you have.
Very powerful.
Well, basically, it was just trying to say that people ain't dealing with morals and principles. That's all God is, principle.
Exactly.
When we come together and we're saying that this is our God, we're saying that we're going to live, this is the supreme principle.
Mhm.
And these are the tenets by which this principle gets carried out. That's all we're saying. And that's an actual fact that right now,
And because the internet doesn't have no laws, it has
No.
no. That's why people are always wilder on the internet than they are in person. On the internet, people could go to all different types of levels, bravery and whatnot.
Oh, yeah,
but in
they're
person, they
Captain
can't
Marvel.
do that
Yeah, of
because
course.
Nah,
There's
they're changed men.
Of course.
There's laws.
That's
in
what
real
they
life.
say. They be like, I'm a changed man.
That's basically why online people, it's like what you and I were speaking about prior, how people could say certain things online that they can't say in person, do certain things online, create a whole different personality and persona of themselves, and make that a reality, make it a false reality. And they believe that because of what's online, that's what in reality, until the actual reality slaps them in the face.
That's why these girls, all these followers, you know, they're a little high. They think they have this great personality until you meet them in person.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. There was a girl that I used to work with when I was like 19, 20. She used to work at Babies R Us with me, and she used to wear the same sneakers every day for the whole 2 years I was there. Later on in life, when I started getting more involved in illegal activity, I started getting.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It doesn't matter. I used to get
Politics.
more finances. I remember one day, late night, what we used to do is we used to go to IHOP after we was done everything we was doing, and she was working in the IHOP, and I remember I gave her a $20 tip because I knew she had kids. I'm like, yo, hold this. Like, I know you. I got love for you. I'm gonna give you $20. Take that home to your kids. So fast forward to 2019 now. Now this chick is associating herself with Instagram personalities, and she's showing her body. She created a whole different persona for herself, and now her following is up. So now she got followers, and now she's a god to a lot of people. So again, what you were saying, when you reach a certain level, you try to help people, or you could try to harm people, or you could just look out for self. So I contacted her. I was like, yo, you have this following. I have this following. Let's try to help people. Let's do something for the community. She didn't answer me.
She too bullshit now?
I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. But now that's her reality now.
Then you also got to recognize that's not what everybody is about. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather, if that's not what you're about, stay in the sideline, keep your mouth closed.
Live your life and whatever
what I'm
it
saying.
is.
Live your life and however you live it, really. Shit ain't got nothing to
Some
do
people are
with me.
selfish like that, where they can't
Most are.
they can't see past their own foot. Like, they just looking at themselves. They only think about themselves.
Yeah.
They blame the world for everything.
Yeah.
To them, they're the perfect being. Like, they think they perfect.
I mean, we all
Like,
perfect. We all perfect.
we're perfect in our flaws because it gives us uniqueness.
What flaws? What flaws?
Let me give you. You're right. I'm
What
using the wrong
flaws?
words. Dude,
What
activating
flaws?
the
Some
wrong
shit
tone.
that we just probably should. What I'm saying is literally, what's a flaw? Somebody because they may be arrogant or they may be conceited. Or
We all have
That's
different
nature.
experiences. Yeah, we
That's
have
nature, bro.
different experiences.
we've been fashioned by again, BS theologians. I could say BS, right? Theologians into even the idea that we're not perfect, or the idea that someone being wicked is not perfect, or an aspect of nature. It's nature.
I believe we're all
You know
equal.
what I'm saying?
We all have the same
We're-
potential.
We're measuring ourselves according to things that just are not real, that came from a person's imagination with the idea of wanting to control people's minds.
Like Instagram.
You know what I'm saying?
Ironically enough, when I started,
All this shit going on in life is perfect.
ironically enough, when I,
My bad.
no, that's cool. Ironically enough, when I started preaching, I've never went to any theological school or the arts of which they went to, but I received a knowledge of self. You could say I received a self-awakening, and when I did, I was able to motivate the masses and build the following that I was able to do, even creating this platform. It started off in my mind and became physical from the mental and even the spiritual, because it did based on a spiritual aspect.
The mind creates it, the spiritual powers it.
But this is what I realized, though. Once I did it, and the more I started to express and exude this feeling of self, those that were calling themselves theologians and preachers, they started to get offended and started to act hostile even towards me. Why do you think that is?
It's
Because some of them really know what's going on and they don't want to lose no money. Shit, real. Some of them
Keep it
really,
simple.
and some of them sincerely really just don't know. Like they was brought up as a little good church boy since a child, and that's all they know.
It depends on each person, you know. I would say some people think their beliefs should run the world, and some people think their beliefs should run the people that it's meant to run.
Yeah, like, I'm definitely cool with people not wanting to be 5% and all that. Like, I'm cool with that. If it's not for you, it definitely is not for you because you're not going to want to be around us.
Exactly.
You're going to feel belittled because I'm going to have you show and prove whatever you tell me. You can tell me something simple, show and prove.
Those people who are jealous, they're jealous because they think their ways of life should overrule your way of life. So when they see you're getting followers, they're like, how is this possible when my way is better? That's why they start competing with you and trying to slow you down. Because they don't want to be passed. They don't. In their mind, they're competing. It's
like, I don't know, man. I keep things simple, and I'm about more adequate, you know, freedom, justice, and equality for my people. Food, clothing, and shelter, and love, peace, and happiness. Whatever knowledge, wisdom, and understanding helps you elevate that and assist people in elevating in that area. I'm at peace with it. So long as you're being lifted. Again, just because I know religion is flawed doesn't mean again there's more in their ways. It's much more in their ways.
There's a positive and negative.
But the 5%ers is not a religion, you say?
Definitely. Far from it. How not? You say we're God. That right there trumps all religion.
That's if we should create a religion.
We're not even saying that you know we adhere to the tenets of what it would be to be a religion.
Is it a following?
I would not think so. Because we're not dealing with, you know, nobody follow. I never seen 5% follow. I don't follow anybody.
To me, I just pick up from everybody. I would say I take the good with the bad.
Like
you know?
like I said, I can show and prove my culture in any culture. I can show and prove just the language of our mathematics and alphabet in everybody's culture. And I'm not saying that in any type of ambiguity. You can ask me a question about anybody's culture, and I can tell you a mathematic that corresponds with it. Because again, we're dealing with the principle of the way things work. We're not dealing with you know,
you brought it back to the basics. Like let's just go to the nouns, the sounds. What does the tone do for you?
So what about the culture right now? Currently, we're in a culture where they're yelling cancel. Say, for example, with the whole situation with Gucci, everybody's yelling cancel Gucci, cancel Gucci.
That don't got nothing to do with it. Is it wrong what Gucci did? Yeah. But again, if I don't buy Gucci on the regular. When I walk outside, I don't see people outside in a multitude of Gucci. When I walk to certain maybe certain areas, maybe something more upscale, like go to some club or something, I might see somebody in some Gucci, right? I say that to say, y'all telling people boycott shit like poor people buy it that much.
True. You won't see many of the
people in this area. Poor people in the hood that got it are hustlers.
So they got it. So they earn.
Let's be practical.
Yeah, true.
It's not really the.
You see the difference between mathematics and a philosophy. A philosophy is gonna sit there and try to ebb and sway that. I'm gonna hit that shit right in the butt. Like it doesn't have nothing to do with me personally. Now is the act of that design incorrect, and many other companies do blackface designs that are similar. Of course, that's incorrect. But if we be real, who's wearing Gucci among the poor people? Because when you tell somebody boycott, you're not speaking to the 1%. You're not.
They don't care.
You're speaking exactly. You're speaking to the 99.
And most of the 1%, they feel that way. They feel how Gucci is showing.
Yeah, they buying that shit anyway.
Yeah, they don't really care. It's a few of them that probably would care, you know. And the poor can't afford it, so there's no reason to care about it.
I mean, if poor people not buying Gucci messes up their stock. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
Dapper Dan didn't resign his position. I don't see nobody going at Dapper.
He didn't quit neither. I mean, 50 came at him. A couple people did.
So,
but Dapper Dan's worried about himself, like you said.
Why should he not be?
You're worried about that dollar.
Why should he not be? If that's
You're the ruler of yourself.
A lot of people may not like that.
Well, that you're a ruler of yourself, or
know that there's going to be people that do things that you disagree with their heads high.
Well, those are the people who
They're not
believe
gonna care about what you think. They're gonna still do it.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people in the regard of how I handle my thing and my righteous. Like I don't care what you think. I'm still gonna do me how I see it.
I only take in what I need to.
So I understand that there are gonna be people on the contradicted end of if I see something as a contradiction.
Oh, let me just ask you something real quick. Seeing that you got a lot of knowledge, I would say. What about astrology? You believe in it?
I told you I don't believe in nothing, bro.
Well, do you believe
astrology has its relativity, especially when it comes to biology.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking more water.
Does it have something to do with psychology? Yeah, it's relative. We don't want to get too spaceshipy, but it has a lot to do with also to your biology. Astrology is very important relative to your
Because
actual.
that comes down to the core.
Your physical composition. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does have a unique physical body.
And the moon and the
Made
sun.
to themselves.
The moon does control water. We are 75% water.
No, the sun control everything. Because how the moon control whatever if the moon gets its light from the sun?
So you brought it back even past the moon. Starts with the sun.
The foundation of all things in existence.
Yeah, the sun is the one that gives everything on earth light.
So the sun controls everything.
How is the earth flat? That's what I've been asking people. You don't feel a wind? Earth flat. It's flat. I don't know. A lot of things are very they're philosophical, man. They can go.
They used to play.
Yeah, you can sit there and you can argue. Some people argue about why something else is
playful
going on.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not real. And then that's what I always think about. What is the practicality to the story? How can I practically get this out of my daily living?
How is this going to make me better?
Yeah, or someone else. Because I'm all about me that from every interaction, that's what I'm striving. I'm striving to elevate or help another elevate. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not elevating, you're not elevating, why are we communicating?
That's how it should be. You fuck with us if you elevate.
Yeah,
I'm trying to elevate. Oh, pardon.
So do you believe that there's individuals that's controlling the world and manipulating the thoughts of everyone?
Of course, we know that.
I didn't
learn about half the shit I know in school.
Of course.
Somebody didn't want me to know.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to fit your
So that's
side.
not,
And why is
that's
that?
not too conspiratorial. Why would you enslave me and want me to get knowledge? The knowledge is liberty.
True.
They want somebody to be a buyer, man. They're
Very-
not going to give you this knowledge.
When you're dealing with the fathers, we ain't gonna have too many long conversations over the questions. What's the next question? Yeah, I'm smoking right now. I don't have too many philosophical views on
Sure.
things.
You make it simple. You keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you make it plain. You like
Yeah.
the man Malcolm said. He said, make it plain.
True. That's probably why, I can say that's probably why the whole society in itself is designed the way it is. And because we're obtaining knowledge from someone else, that's why we're lost.
Oh, yeah.
Because knowledge comes
Oh,
first.
yeah.
Self-knowledge is the best.
In school, the first thing I learned about black people had something to do with slavery.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with prominence. I didn't learn that
They didn't even
we
want to
were
start off
pyramid
with.
builders, and I've learned that through books outside of school, conversations in prison with my father and all that. I didn't learn that in school.
So do you believe 1 + 1 is 2 or 1 + 1 is 3?
Well, some people like to say 1 + 1 is 3 because when a man and a woman come together, they make a baby. But that's how I know it's 1 + 2 that equals 3. Because man and man that come together ain't gonna make no baby. And 1 is man and 2 is woman. So I'm always gonna say knowledge and wisdom equals understanding, not knowledge and knowledge. Knowledge and knowledge is not gonna be good wisdom. Knowledge and knowledge got transgender bathrooms.
And unisex.
Yeah, you gotta respect things in their manifestation. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. That by no means didn't come from. Nothing came from white people. That's why I'm not in no doubt of a lot of science that exists in the world today. You know,
It's all for show.
Because it's like many of our people accept the reality of. But that's what science is. Science not real, but where did the ideas of these people stick? Look, they went right here, all down here, and said, I'm gonna use it. That's how we gonna meet the internet.
Actually,
how
it was a
people make
it was a
it.
black person who made the computer. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
And it's a black man that right now invented the world's largest supercomputer.
And
I
telephones.
forgot his name, but I mean, I forgot. I remember. I showed my students him 2 weeks ago. You know, Black History Month. I've been getting it down and all the little black.
You gotta
facts.
give them the knowledge real quick.
These youths, they don't know.
They don't.
Their parents don't
There's,
teach it to
there's
them.
so many distractions, man.
They definitely.
they are-
Cell phone. Once they got a cell phone in their hand, it's the worst.
Like, and now they're teaching sarcasm, therefore making it hard for them to even listen. Because now the initial response is the comeback, the snappy comeback.
You know, I'm telling you.
To invoke rage in you.
That's what you was doing earlier, though.
Yeah, but that's fun. That was playfulness. There's a difference between, you know, the serious times and.
You're not lying. That's exactly
Yeah.
how y'all. And y'all silence all that. I don't play too much of the caddies in my classroom. I don't.
Because they ready to.
We joke when we joke. I love to have fun with the youth where we joke a lot actually. Play fight with them everything. But when it's time to get down to business, I definitely get down to business with them because they have a disadvantage in society. And if they don't learn how to maneuver around that disadvantage, they're gonna stay at that disadvantage.
Facts.
Because a lot of these young kids, they don't know how to move through Instagram comments and YouTube comments.
They're killing themselves.
They're losing their confidence just by looking at somebody else. They keep comparing themselves to somebody else.
And they don't know everything is fake.
Yeah. They think the internet God is the truth, but the internet
Things are only as real as you believe it to be.
Well, that's
Not exaggerated.
that's relative. You know what I'm saying? That's relative because somebody doing something before you can think it to be unreal as much as you want.
No, that's true. That's true.
So that's why I say you gotta be relative.
Facts. So closing thoughts, guys. We got about 4 minutes.
Closing thoughts, go get that Black Ninjutsu. The album is out now, streaming everywhere.
Black
So
Ninjutsu.
me and my man Kai Witachi, it's a Medina in France link up. See, we went from the East Coast to the East Coast of Europe.
He was
That's
out
the
here?
West Coast of Europe, isn't it? Actually,
Yeah,
it's
what's
the West
so-
Coast. Well, that's all Asia. You see, them people was funny too. You see,
Oh,
they
yeah.
said, boom, Europe.
We gotta save that for another episode.
You know, but yeah, that's it though. You know, just go check my own music out. You know, I teach Tai Chi. If you want to learn the style of Tai Chi, you can get at me.
I didn't even know they taught Tai Chi in public schools.
I mean, no, I teach it. It's new.
Oh.
So I'm telling you,
That's all I like to
there's
hear.
change happening.
That's all I like to hear. Let them fight you later.
Yeah,
with that,
no,
but
I ain't trying to talk too. I don't get paid bullshit either. You know what I'm saying? I get paid something nice to because it's there for
Making a
their more for
difference.
their social and emotional and mental development.
Which is needed very
Yeah,
much
they have,
in the social media era.
all of this, just memorize this and test tape. It's making them.
They trying to,
It's
yeah.
helping them out actually. That's all I have to say.
Come out, closing thoughts.
I just want to say, I hope a lot of people's eyes are open through this, like to find self-knowledge and to motivate.
Indeed, you know.
Motivate.
Get a foundation in travel, you know.
Yeah, like
I know they was, they banging on the Christianity, but
I mean, at the end of
if it helps you better the quality of your life, that's what you use and that's what you go with.
I just say don't ever close your mind. Like don't be
but
closed.
stay closed.
Yeah, like say try to get as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah.
Well, my closing thought is this. Me being a Christian, I understand the Bible, but I also am open-minded to everything that's around. Even speaking to my brother here as a 5%er, even speaking to my brother that's, I don't know what you call yourself.
I'm just me.
Okay.
I'm all day just dealing with knowledge.
Accept that.
I'm just me.
So,
It's agnostic.
yeah, I didn't want to say atheist because I don't know if you
No,
atheist
it's
or
those
not.
guys that said like they don't believe in.
I believe in a God.
Yeah.
My God wouldn't be like more. I feel like the word God, has been used too much in images, and this is what God is. I try to keep it more in it's a thought. I know there's something greater out there.
Of course.
What is that out there?
Out where? Well, let me say
Out
there's
where
there's
inside?
something great that I can't understand, and I'm gonna keep trying.
So what if that greatness is yourself though?
Yep, and guess what? I'm gonna keep trying to understand myself. I'm gonna keep trying.
So we thank you guys for watching us today. Check us out next week. Follow us on Instagram at The Real Word TV. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube, www.youtube.com/The Real Word TV. That's The Real Word TV. If you want to donate, donate at GoFundMe.com/The Real Word. That's GoFundMe.com/The Real Word.
And it's a tax write-off for my guy.
Yeah, of course.
So make sure y'all do that.
And we see you guys next week, same time, same place. Take care, guys.
Peace.